Good morning. We have spent 4 years traveling around Mexico, Central America, and South America in our camper van. 1 year of that was spent in Mexico. So I want to share with you 5 fun facts about traveling around Mexico in your van. Number 1, you don't drink the tap water in Mexico. I think most people know that. So what do you do for water in a camper van? Well, you go to the water store. There are literally water stores that sell potable, clean, drinkable water. Most of the time, it'll be in the big 5-gallon jugs that you would put in a water bottle dispenser at an office or something. Or they may have, if you're at the place where they truly purify the water and have the setup to clean the water there and put it into the water bottles, those places might actually have a water hose that will stretch out to your van and you can fill your tank up directly. But you need to be prepared to be able to pour water into your tank from one of these big jugs. Now, there aren't always water stores available, but don't worry, because you can stop at most convenience stores scattered out all over the place, from little mom and pop ones to full-on fancy gas stations, and most places are going to sell this water in the big 5-gallon jugs because it's what people use at their house. So in Mexico, you buy your drinking water. Number 2, there are legitimate police and military checkpoints all over the country. You'll be driving up, you'll know you're approaching one. There'll be signs telling you. There will probably be an office building of some sort off to the side. There'll be cones or barricades in the road directing you off to the side. There'll actually be military officers with guns or policemen with guns standing in the middle of the road, and they may wave you over. This is completely normal. It is nothing to be afraid of. They're most likely going to ask you a couple of questions like where you're from and where you're going, and then send you on your way. Some of them may ask to see your paperwork. That's going to be your passport, a copy of your temporary import paperwork for your vehicle, and maybe your vehicle insurance. The important thing to know here is you want to have copies of all of that, including your passport. That's what you hand them. Never hand your originals out the window. It's just too easy that they might get lost. They also may, from time to time, come into your van and look around. They have every right to do this. They're not overstepping their bounds. It's not corruption. It is a normal thing that happens all over Mexico. So be ready for it and don't be afraid. It's normal. Number 3, traditional RV campgrounds do not exist in Mexico. There are not campgrounds that have dump stations or adequate electric supply that you can plug in and run a full RV on. You are not going to find somewhere to easily dump a giant black tank from an RV. It's just not something that happens. They're usually very informal. You could be camping in someone's yard or in the parking lot of a restaurant. It's not going to be what you expect if you've done van life or RVing up the United States. You need to be prepared to deal with your black tank issues if you're coming down here. Now, I will not say that there are 0 places to dump your black tanks, but I will tell you that our entire year in Mexico, we probably saw 4, maybe 5 places where that was possible. So just so you know, no typical standard United States style RV parks in Mexico. Number 4, imagine driving down the road, minding your own business. It's a good road. It's like a turnpike back in the States. You're going 55, 60 miles an hour. You would be going 70 or 80 in the United States, but you're fixing to learn why you never go over 50 or 55 down here. On this big road, you cross over the hill, and then all of a sudden, no warning, no signs, no striping, and for no apparent reason, the most gigantic speed bump you have ever seen is right on the road. You're going to hit it, and it is going to launch you and your van into the air. Your heads are going to hit the ceiling. You're going to come crashing down. You're immediately going to think that everything in your tiny house has fallen apart, and it may have, because these things are terrible, and they're everywhere. They're called topes, not speed bumps, but it's the same thing. There's no regulation on them. They can be a foot high, 6 inches high. They can be 10 feet wide or 2 feet wide. They can be jaggedy, made out of concrete. Sometimes they're fishing ropes drug across the road with mud put over them, so it's like a bump. You never know. So if you're in a rural area, you don't want to go over like 35 because those things just appear out of nowhere. If you're on the big roads, you're going 55 and that's it, because you always need to be prepared to stop or slow down drastically to cross a tope. Number 5, the roads in Mexico can get narrow quickly. You can be driving from one town to the next on a perfectly normal sized road and then go around a corner and just be in an urban area with very narrow roads. There doesn't seem to be a logical rule for who has the right of way and what side of the road people park on. Very rarely is there a sign, and it's just something you should be prepared for, especially because our vans are big. There are literally going to be some corners you can't make, and you just need to be aware. Always be on the lookout out ahead of you and have a plan, because there's actually been times we've had to stop and back up, which can cause a real traffic jam in these areas. Doesn't make the locals happy. So always be on the lookout for the roads to turn narrow fast. So if you want to come down to Mexico in your van, gather everything up and come on down, and we hope to see you out on the road.